Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Barrio Expressions. And first, I'd like to start off the show by explaining that we had technical difficulties last week, and we'd like to tell everybody that it's not on the behalf of the Barrio Expressions crew that happened. And thank you for being patient with us last week. Tonight, we have two special guests with us. One of the originators of Barrio Expressions, previously known as Lo Que Es, Manuel Gonzalez. He'll be with us tonight. And right now we have a guest. Her name is Andrea Carmen with the Chicano Moratorium Committee in San Francisco. And they'll be having a celebration August the 28th in Mission Dolores Park in San Francisco. Okay, hello Andrea.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you. What is the Chicano Moratorium?
The Chicano Moratorium is a day with a lot of significance in the history of the Chicano people. And I'm told that by special arrangement, we're able to have the tape of the original Chicano Moratorium, which I think we're going to be playing in a moment, an excerpt from it. The Chicano Moratorium dates back to 1970, August 29th, when 20,000 Chicanos marched in East Los Angeles to protest U.S. involvement in the war in Vietnam, and also to protest the high Chicano casualty rate in that war. Just for your information and for the audience information, in the Vietnam War, 20% of the deaths were Chicano and Latino, even though we only made up 5% of the U.S. population. So you can see that we died in 4 times our proportion in the population. Also, the marchers in the Chicano Moratorium were protesting a lot of the conditions that we were suffering under here and continue to suffer under: the police brutality, the poor education that our young people get, the migra, all the different kinds of unemployment and kinds of oppression that Chicanos suffer.
And who originated this Chicano Moratorium Committee?
The Chicano Moratorium originally in 1970 was a broad-based movement of Chicanos throughout the Southwest who were getting madder and madder about the situation, especially focusing on the Vietnam War. And they were thinking, why should we go off to Vietnam and kill people we don't even know when we're being exploited here in this country? Why should we fight for this country in Vietnam? Our struggle is here first. So I think that right about now would be a good time to go into the tape of the march in 1970, and we could talk a little bit about what happened. I think, for people's understanding, at the end of the tape, we're going to start showing some of the police brutality, because even though that march was legal and peaceful and there was a permit for it, about 2,000 police in riot gear attacked the march that day, resulting in 3 Chicanos being killed, and one of them was Ruben Salazar, who was a well-known journalist for the LA Times.
And why is there a celebration now, this
Well, we
year?
think of it as more of a commemoration, because the issues that were brought out, the issue of U.S. military intervention in other countries, the issue of the economic conditions that really force our young people to go into the military, even though they may not want to for any other reason besides, it's a job for a little while. The issues of police brutality, the issues of the migra, the immigration department attacks, the issues of the problems of our youth not being able to find jobs, all those issues are the same. I don't think that anyone would want to say that conditions in the barrios today are any better than in 1970. In fact, a lot of us feel like things are really getting worse under the Reagan administration, and here we are, ready, seems to go to war, in a war where you're going to find raza actually faced with killing their own people, their own raza in Central America.
And on this day, on this celebration in San Francisco, what kind of what do you want to express there to the people? What's your motto there that day?
Well, one of the themes of the march is raza won't kill raza in Central America. That raza youth want jobs and not war. That we don't want to be forced into going into the military because there's no jobs for our people. And also the same slogans that were put out in 1970, that our struggle is here. Why should we go to some other country to fight people on behalf of the United States government? What do we really have here that is worth giving up for that? And also, again, because of the poverty that minorities find themselves in, you find 50% minorities in the military: Chicanos, blacks, American Indians, because our young people don't have so many opportunities, so they look at the military as, well, maybe this is a way out of the barrio or out of my situation, and they're going to find themselves in the jungles again. and this time fighting people that look and talk just like them. And we're questioning that. We think that our youth deserves something better than that. So we're going to have speakers. We're going to have a lot of different speakers on different issues, but especially focusing on the issue of the draft of intervention in Central America.
Things that are really happening now, taking place now.
Talking about the Simpson-Mazzoli bill and the issue of the migra in the communities. We're going to have speakers from Chicano youth organizations like RAP. The Chicano Moratorium Committee in San Francisco, by the way, consists of about 50 different organizations from throughout the Bay Area, and we started celebrating the Chicano Moratorium again last year for the first time in San Francisco, really because we were feeling more and more that things were getting worse, and also the threat of the war in Central America really started bothering a lot of Chicanos and a lot of the young people who were faced with that decision. Should I register for the draft, or maybe I should go enlist because it sounds so great, you know, they promise you the moon, you know, the recruiters do.
The Chicano Moratorium sounds like a strong group, a strong movement. Is it? Has it grown over these years, or?
Well, I think that the whole Chicano movement as a whole really kind of died down in the 70s, in the late 70s. People were thinking, well, maybe there were some reforms coming and a few more programs and services opened up, but now I think we're finding that we're back in the same position as we were before, or even worse off than before. So a lot of different groups came together and decided that we should celebrate or commemorate this uniquely Chicano day, because we celebrate a lot of things like Cinco de Mayo together with our Mexicano people, you know, and celebrate the unity of Chicano-Mexicano people. But this is one day which is specifically Chicano and specifically addressing the conditions of our people here living in the United States in the Southwest. We're going to have a lot of solidarity speakers, for instance, Bill Wapapa from the American Indian Movement. We're having people from Nicaragua, people from El Salvador, people from the Palestinian struggle are all going to be there to express their solidarity with the Chicano people. Also, we're going to have a good fiesta there that day. We're going to have Raíces de México Folklórico group, the Citlali Aztec dancers, as well as Batuchanga, which I'm sure people have heard, and Los Peludos to do some salsa. So we're going to have a lot of dancing and having fun. There's going to be food there and booths. We're going to have a lowrider car show as well. So as well as putting out some of these messages that, you know, the Chicano people need to come together and do something about our situation. As well, we're going to have a good time together and do some dancing and kick back in the sun.
Okay, good. For those of you who have just tuned in, this tape was in 1970 in Los Angeles, and the Chicano Moratorium videoed this tape. And this is Andrea Carmen. She's from San Francisco with the Chicano Moratorium Committee, and she's explaining of the celebration they will be having in Dolores Park in San Francisco this coming Sunday, August the 28th.
That's right, from noon to 6.
From noon to 6?
Right.
And what's this, a sunrise celebration at 6 a.m.?
Well, we're having to commemorate our roots in the Indian community. We're having the Aztec dancers from the Mission Cultural Center come, and they're going to be performing during the main part of the day from noon to 6, but they're also going to do a sunrise celebration for us, commemorating our Indian roots in Mexico. That's at 6 a.m.
At Dolores Park?
For the hardcore.
Oh. People who don't go home. This is at Dolores.
So come on your way home, stop by and join us for the sunrise celebration. But definitely we want to invite people to come back from noon to 6 and hear Batuchanga, Los Peludos, and also hear some good speakers about the situation, learn some stuff about what's going on now in Central America, and also here in the barrios at home. Because we're saying to our young people, to our community in general, our fight is here, and we better get it together and do something for our people before things get even worse than they are right now. Also, we want to invite people to join us in a demonstration related to this, because Sunday is August 28th, and August 29th is actually the day of the moratorium, and we're reserving this day to commemorate what we call Chicano Memorial Day, to remember people like Ruben Salazar, who was killed on August 29, 1970 at the original moratorium, and also all the other Chicanos who've really taken a stand and been killed or died because of their commitment to Chicano cause for justice and self-determination. So we're going to be having a 1-hour demonstration in front of the Federal Building in San Francisco to call for Chicano self-determination.
Oh, and what time will this be taking place?
That'll be from 12 to 1 on Monday, the 29th, on Chicano Memorial Day. So we're asking people to come to two events. One is the big celebration in the park on Sunday afternoon, and the other one is a 1-hour demonstration that we can really focus to the government and say, no, our youth want jobs and not war. Chale, no, we won't go, like they were saying in 1970.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, that sounds good. If you'd like to have more information of the Chicano Moratorium celebration at Dolores Park this Sunday, you could call area code 415-821-6545. And for transportation from San Jose, if people are coming from San Jose, if you'd like to invite people and they don't have any transportation to San Francisco, you can call area code 408-298-5021. And now we're going to roll the tape. Okay, well, we're having some
Here comes the tape.
That tape that was just shown on Barrio Expressions was from the Chicano Moratorium group in San Francisco, and that tape was taking place in Los Angeles in 1970. And that just showed some of the difficulties that could happen between the Raza groups and with Chicanos and the police. So we'll hope that Sunday has better things for us this time. We'd like to thank Andrea Carmen from San Francisco who came down. And now we have a special guest on our show. He's one of the originators from Barrio Expressions, previously known as Lo Que Es, Manuel Gonzalez. And I'd like to welcome you to the show tonight.
Thank you.
How did Lo Que Es get started?
A group of students from Ohlone College had been assigned to explore the cable TV as an expression medium, and at the same time I had gotten a grant to explore alternative uses of cable TV. So we hooked and started producing a show every Sunday.
Every Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and why did you choose Hayward to show your show?
Well, on my end, Hayward Cable had one of the best equipped facilities in the Bay Area, which is where I live. And for the group of students from Ohlone College, I guess it was the closest facility that was available. You see, cable TVs around did not provide an access channel like this one throughout. So they had to come from Fremont or Union City to produce the show here. So that's what chose Hayward.
And what do you remember best of the show, of your shows that you used to host?
Well, as you know, making a show is more than just sitting in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm. Takes a lot of work.
A lot of coordination, a lot of team effort. And right now, behind one of the cameras, someone who just got introduced to camera work is performing very nicely. So, you know, I have very warm memories about working with people who took the technology as a challenge and learned very fast and didn't get afraid and were courageous enough to get in there and do a program, all for the sake of getting communications that were vital to our community out there. So I have many specific memories of this very place. We stayed all night, many nights, editing programs.
What kind of issues did you express back then?
What kind of
issues did you show?
Well, at that time, we had the problem at Jack in the Box. There was a problem with young lowriders parking there, and a very nice process developed by which some of the actual members of the Barrio Expressions group facilitated a dialogue between this group who got isolated from the rest of the community and truly in a collision course with the police, and facilitated some very exciting programs where the cameras would be at Jack in the Box. I remember one night we were taping and there were no lights because we were in a parking lot. And first of all, we moved to another parking lot, the parking lot of someone who's now deceased, I believe, who had another restaurant on Hesperian, on Tennyson Street. And we went to his parking lot because it was a more receptive parking lot to lowriders. And then they all lined up so that we could have lights on a group of people. And the camera had to be low enough so that the lights of the cars, which were low themselves, could hit the subject. And, very nice expressions of what was going on with them.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the examples.
And what are you doing now that you're really not
doing
here?
Barrio Expressions? Well, I'm in the process of developing applications for a microcomputer, working with a group who does develop applications for computers, distributes computers, and has generated a very interesting painting program. I'll demonstrate it to you in a few moments, and hopefully one of my sons who's here can demonstrate how easily it also is operated.
Well, why do you think computers are important with today?
Well, you see them all the time everywhere. If you go to a bank, if you dial the telephone, if you get on the bus, there's a computer having to do with just about any step that we do now. So just like with television, the relevance of our communities becoming literate in these technologies has to do with us becoming less of a subject and more of the decision makers in how our communities are shaped. The tape you showed spoke a bit about Ruben Salazar, and Ruben was working in the field of journalism, which again was trying to express what is happening in our communities to our people in our own terms. And this business of making your own cable TV show or making your own newspaper or making your own public statements at the park on Sunday for Chicano Moratorium, it has to do with you expressing what you feel is vital in your own words, in your own tongue. And computers are just one extension of the technology that allows you to express. My interest is that at a given point, we should, because we grew up bilingually, because we learned to deal with several codes, right? If you had to communicate with your grandma, you had to deal with Spanish. You couldn't forget about her. She had to hear from you some Spanish. And also at school, you had to really tackle English, otherwise you wouldn't move along. So we have to deal with more than one language, and computers have to deal with this translation of codes from one to another application. So I would like to think that in some kind of way we are well equipped and very well positioned to deal with computers. And I found myself very easily moving from television equipment and this kind of equipment, technologies, to computers. And my son has found it also quite simple to tackle it. And
Okay. And they're successful with Rasa people. Rasa people could get involved with computers?
Right, yeah. You know that we were very well known throughout the world for our murals, both those that were made at Union City and those that were made in Mexico or in the Rockefeller Plaza by some of the Mexican muralists. The muralist movement in Mexico was known as being full of fire because these people had a lot to say. So the computers enabled you to make graphics and to express graphically feelings and images in such a way that you can think of them as an extension, an electronic mural, so to speak. So I think there's a whole tradition behind this, and I hope to encourage more Raza artists to get involved. At some point, we should see the computer because it's fun.
What do you have entered on there? What did you enter on that computer?
Well, it's basically a paint program that uses a light pen. So one of the things you have to overcome is that you grew up being taught not to touch the screen of the television. And in this particular case, you draw right on the screen of the television. And you can choose from any number of colors and then any number of figures and just go ahead and design your graphic.
Picture. And can you make a print out of this?
You can. Yeah, you could print it onto a slide or paper, or you could print it on a mylar to be able to do an overhead projector kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to show it tonight. We are? Okay. Well, I guess we are going to show the computer. Would you like to call one of your sons?
I guess it's two of my sons.
Okay.
Okay, so essentially,
for those of you who are tuning into Barrio Expressions, right now we're showing the importance of computers and how they're used in the community and how we need them today. This kind of program that Manuel's sons are going to show is how we could make a print out of pictures. that drawn on a TV camera, a TV screen from a computer?
Essentially, the program is organized by menus. So I've just selected the menu that says paint. And then I'm going to ask Manuel to select a color that he wants to draw, and then he will design a graphic. Okay. So go ahead and select a color, Manuel, please.
I want to select the color.
Choose a color. Okay. Now make a picture of whatever you want. Make a choice and then have the computer do it. So he's doing squares.
Okay.
And basically the way it works is he has the computer follow his pen, and now he's filled it up with color. He build the second part. Now he selected the box drawing mode, so the computer follows him as far as he wants to go. Okay, thank you. No dedications. So you see that the commands are your basic drawing, making a line, making a box, making a circle, fill inside some boundaries, and then clear the screen. He just cleared it now. So, you know, anybody could draw quite fast a graphic.
Oh, okay. And this could be used for pictures that they would use anywhere, really, to design. Any company could use to design things.
Right. You could find these computers being used in a cable situation such as this one, and you would have you would select a graphic, say for the beginning of Barrio Expressions. You would sit down and draw it, and then take it out of the computer and put it into the control room, and then you would have graphics that were generated.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming to Barrio Expressions tonight and sharing your computer with us and showing your sons how easy it could be worked. And I'd like to thank you viewers out there for tuning in tonight. And be sure to tune in next week, and don't miss the activities that are coming up this weekend. Sunday, there's going to be a good celebration from the Chicano Moratorium in San Francisco. Be sure not to miss that. That's going to have a lot of activities going on there, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of things to do. San Francisco gets pretty live when things are going on over there. And be sure to tune in next week. And if you'd like to call up the station tonight, you could call 785-4917. We'll be answering phones for a little bit after the show. And be sure to tune in and see you next week. Bye-bye.